Hello again, everyone. We're going to design this wall now. Okay, so it's difficult, but it's difficult if we have the whole model with all that stuff. It's difficult to understand where we are and what we have to do. So the first thing we are going to do is to hide everything that we don't need. So for sure, we can hide the topography, the top solids. And what do we need? If we are in this front view, all we need probably it's that element because this is the outline, and probably this column because we just need the outline of the wall so we can get rid of everything else. I'm going to select everything, and then I'm going to click on the truss, and probably I'm going to click on this column here and that column there. So if I right click, hide in view all the elements, that's all I get. I get my wall, and the outline of this wall has to be this, where the truss is, and I'm going to use this level. It has to be something above this concrete detail. I don't mind if it's here or there, so I'm going to select that level to have a reference. Okay, we're going to try the massing inside, and I'm going to place a mass. First, I need to check on one of the levels, the grid line, where I want to work. Okay, so I'm selecting this grid line, and this is grid line. Well, in this case, it's 12L. I don't know why we have this. Oh, no, sorry, it's this one. Okay, the wall is going to be here. Okay, so that's grid line number 14 and weight name. If I select the massing in place, I set the work plane on this. Usually we have a window here, but sometimes we have the placement plane here. So that's 14N, that's the grid line. And now I can just use the outline of this truss. Then up to this level and here. Okay, so this way it's very easy to understand what we are doing because we only have the truss. Now, drawing the mass, it's not enough. Remember that we have to select it, and I want to create a solid form. And then that solid form, I can select this as 1 foot, or I can use these arrows. But be careful with the arrow because you see that we can change the direction and we don't want to do that. Okay, so let's select this option 1 foot, and now we can finish the mass. And there you go. So that's the mass. And now I'm going to create the voids. So how can I create the voids? You select the mass, edit in place, and I'm going to set the work plane on this grid line 14N, make sure of that. And the best option is to create a void that goes all the way above this, because this void has to cut all the wall. I think we agreed that that was 1 foot, that distance, and then we can go all the way down and here. So we have already done that. And now I want to create a void form. And now we can see that this void form is there. So we just need to cut the mass in this direction. Okay, I'm going to repeat it again. Probably it was too fast. I'm selecting the front view. I have the way to cancel. I'm going to do it again. Select, edit in place, set the work plane on the same grid, 14N. And now instead of rectangle, I'm going to use a line. So I select that point, I go all the way up, then I go 1 foot here, and then go all the way down there. Now select the shape, create a void form, and now we need to get the right thickness for this void form. So I'm opening the top view. So that's the mass. It has to cut the mass here. But now I want to select this face of the void element, and I have to go slightly like this, okay? Because I want to cut this shape there, but I want to leave this element here, okay? And now if I click finish, now I have this void. I wanted to copy. Okay, so here we can see the void. So remember that we can edit in place, and the void is there. Okay, so if you create a window that includes all the void is there. And now we have to copy this element 2 feet away, and 2 feet, and 2 feet, and 2. There's a moment in which I can keep copying this, but I can select 4 of them. And now it's way easier because we only have to find the right corner. I'm done with this, and those voids, because the mass finishes here, and I know I didn't the last void. Okay, I think I can finish the mass now. And now I have this option. Okay, and remember that now I can go to architecture wall. I have created this basic wall, the strap, and I'm not going to change it. I'm just going to check the structure. It's plywood, 1 inch. So very simple. So in massing and site, now I can select wall, and then I can select this face. There you go. Okay, if you work with all the elements in the drawing, it might be a nightmare because you don't know what you're selecting. But if you just work with the pieces that you want to work, it's quite easy. We can even now, because we don't need the grid anymore, or the truss anymore, I can select everything, and I can hiding view. This. Okay. So now we have the first part of the wall. We have these tables, but in this side we have other tables. Well, there are different ways to do that. I can select the wall itself. I can select only the basic wall strap, and now I can copy. Careful, because it's something very thin. I can copy this wall here. And now I'm going to delete, not delete, a hiding view, the mask. And this is the kind of wall we have. We can have this. The only thing we don't get with this system is the overlap. Okay, so if we look at the top view, we see that we have this in the gap. So we have the solid part and the gap, the solid and the gap. If we want to overlap this, we have to move one of those. If I move this wall, one module in this direction, now I have this solid and gap here, solid and gap, solid and gap. And now this is the effect that I want. Okay, so it's not that difficult. Once you are done, you can unhide all the elements. You can select everything, unhide in view, and then click on the light bulb again. Well, I didn't select the topography apparently, but now we have this. We have this weird effect because the mass is there. So if we manage to select the mass, that's only the mass. Now I can hide in view only that element. And now I get the wall of this. I hit because this should be inside the truss. So we can always make it better. If we go to one of the levels, level 10, I want to select this, or I guess I can select the wall and the mass, because when we hide in view, we hide only the mass on that view, but the mass is still there. And now I can move it to this side of the truss, and now on the 3D view. Yep. So now we can see the truss, and I have to hide the mass again. Now it looks much better. It can look even better if I cast shadows on this. If we go to graphic display options, I'm going to use cast shadows and ambient shadows. I'm going to apply. And now it looks even nicer, especially if we find, okay, I think that place for the sun is good enough because we can see the shadows here. So that's good enough. And now if I go to the level 0, I place a camera on this gallery. It will look very nice, especially if we are casting the shadows. Have to hide in view the mask here and use realistic colors. Okay, we're getting there. There are a lot of things to fix. This material, for example, this wall, or this column, it's inside this concrete. Okay, so there are things to fix. And the roof, it has to be a different material. That beam has to be a different material. But we are getting there. What I want is to cast shadows there. And to do that, I can use the sun settings. Still, if we apply, okay, this is not the best option because it's PM. Okay, now it's getting better. Okay, so that's the effect that we want. We want to see these nice reflections on that wall. If we go to graphic display options, we show ambient shadows and probably lighting, the ambient light. Let's make it a little, the shadow. Okay, so we're getting there. There are things to fix, but this would be a nice view with these reflections here.